This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutastrophe. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, November the 22nd, is a legendary Montreal Canadian forward. He was a right winger who played for 16 seasons with the Canadiens in the 60s and 70s, winning 10 Stanley Cups. This man played in the Summit Series. He actually scored the tying goal in the final game of the Summit Series before Paul Henderson's winning goal. He was known as the Roadrunner because of his small size and blazing speed, which he had longer blades on his skates. Inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1982, he's one of the greatest players in NHL history. His name is Yvan Cournoyer, who's now 80 years old. Cournoyer played for Montreal of the OHA, which was weird because Montreal being in the OHA, the Ontario Hockey Association, wouldn't it have been in Quebec? I don't know why. But anyway, by the time he was 18 years old, his legs were so muscular he needed specifically tailored pants. And Montreal signed him to a deal. This was before the draft started, so Cournoyer was signed by the Habs and earned a full-time spot in 1964. He was initially regarded as a defensive liability and not really deserving of a regular shift. He was still used on the power play. However, after Toe Blake retired following the 1968 championship by Montreal, and Claude Ruel came in, and Ruel decided to give Cournoyer a shot to be part of the full-time shifts and all that. And Cournoyer did it. He paid off Claude Ruel's patience by getting a 40-goal season in 1969 and being part of the second All-Star team in the NHL. 4 years later, in 1973, he would score 47 goals to be his career high. And in the 73 playoffs, he was the Conn Smythe Trophy winner for playoff MVP, scoring 15 goals in 17 games as the Habs beat the Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup Finals. After Henri Richard retired following the 1975 season, Cournoyer was given the C for a captain, and he knew he had to play hard in his new leadership role. Cournoyer actually was one of only two captains in history to win Stanley Cups throughout his tenure as captain, never having a season without a cup, the other being Rocket Richard. Unfortunately, though, he had to slow down a little bit because of a disc in his back that was pressing on a nerve. Cournoyer missed the 1977 playoffs because of his back surgery and missed the Stanley Cup playoffs, despite the fact that, the 77 Habs were still that damn good. He would come back in 1978, but his back continued to bother him. He scored 7 goals in 15 games in the 78 playoffs. Unfortunately, after 15 games, he had to retire following the 1979 season. He was only third. Yeah, he was third in Habs scoring all time behind Rocket Richard and Jean Beliveau. But he won 10 Stanley Cups, which is second most in NHL history behind Pocket Rocket, Henri Richard's 11. He's still 7th in games played, 4th in goals, and 6th in points as a Hab in history. Cournoyer was part of the 1972 Summit Series, part of the famous picture in which Paul Henderson jumped into Cournoyer's arms after scoring the series winner. Cournoyer scored 3 goals during that game. He had the tying goal, which helped Paul Henderson's goal. He's an ambassador to the Montreal Canadiens, and he's done well for himself. Yeah, part of the Summit Series. So Montreal, he wasn't really a massive player. He did score a few 20-goal seasons before Claude Ruel turned him loose. If it wasn't for back pain, he probably would have been better than he was. He scored 428 goals, 863 points in 968 NHL games. Of course, he retired probably through the 79 season because of his back. In the playoffs, he would play 147 games with 127 points of 64 goals, and the Conn Smythe in 1973. So Cournoyer was just fantastic in all of that. And, he spent his entire career with the Habs, which wasn't easy. But, the Habs rewarded their French Canadian players with loyalty and patience. And Cournoyer as the Roadrunner did his job, and he did it quite well. Cournoyer's number 12 is up in the rafters, and it's easy to see why, because of all his prowess and all that, and how he helped the Habs win 10 Stanley Cups in his career, which was very fantastic. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.